It is Tuesday, which of course means it's time to answer the questions that you guys send in every single week on the Brendan Plays forums at brendanplays.com/forums or the YouTube comment section down below. You can also leave a voicemail on the website at brendanplays.com. On the right hand side of the page, there's a big green button. Go ahead, click on it, and away you go. Well, we have the Slammy Awards this week on Monday Night Raw, and I really don't have much to say this week, honestly, because Monday Night Raw just wasn't great. It just was not a good show. There really wasn't many talking points coming out of it at all, other than negative stuff. It's kind of mind-blowing that they've gone from being, such a great show to the next week being utterly shit. I don't know how the WWE does that. It's really mind-blowing that they can go from that. Last week we had Roman Reigns winning the title, all this hype and excitement out of it, and then this week there was literally nothing at all to be excited about. It was a boring show. But anyways, let's kick this week's show off, and of course you can listen to Let's Talk Tuesdays on iTunes, Spreaker, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, and of course on YouTube. This week's show is also brought to you by Mobile Strike. Become an action hero like Arnold Schwarzenegger in the new game of Modern War, Mobile Strike. Build a base, control the action, and test your elite troops against enemies on the battlefield. With cutting-edge vehicles in your arsenal, this worldwide MMO game tests your ability to wage a tactical and intelligent war. Check out the link in the description down below. Download Mobile Strike. You probably have seen some ads on TV. I know I've been getting ads on TV for Mobile Strike. Good old Arnie's in the ad, so it's pretty cool. I've got a chance to check this game out. It's pretty fun, and most of the reviews on it are pretty solid. So I am definitely going to be playing this game. Check it out, the link in the description down below. Make sure you use my link in the description down below to help kick back a little bit of support back to the podcast and back to me. This week as well, I'd also like to say a big thank you to all of our patrons that continue to support the show. And of course, these are Necess, Busy B, Rex Michael Clark, Daniel, Joe Dawson, and they don't really give me last names sometimes, so Daniel, whoever you are, Jason Malamut, Alex Saviola, and Sandman, and good old Bashka. So big thank you to all those guys who continue to support Let's Talk Tuesdays through the Patreon. You can also check that out as well by checking out the link in the description down below. The Patreon is just an easy way to kind of support the show. I know I haven't really gone and followed through with the rewards. I think I just want to kind of acknowledge the people who do continue to support the show. And I mean, I did originally actually record a podcast for the Patreon, but I just didn't get around to releasing it. But that's on me. I know I need to kind of get on that. But let's be honest, I haven't really been under control of all my YouTube duties in the last couple of weeks, so I need to kind of get that under wraps. But I just want to say also a big Merry Christmas from me, and Happy Holidays to everybody out there. Hope you all have a great time and spend some time with the family and enjoy it. I know I'm looking forward to a big Christmas feast. I love it. So what are we in the comment section down below? What is your favorite thing to eat at Christmas? Now, we don't normally have pork very often, but I think when I get pork and I get the pork crackling, oh my goodness, it is amazing. So I'm definitely looking forward to getting some of that. I hope you guys get everything you want from the good old Santa Claus as well. Hopefully I do too. That'd be good. I just don't really ask for too much nowadays, but I kind of, I still get given a lot of things from my parents because, when you're when there's three siblings in the family, you kind of have to split it up all even. So when my brother gets something pretty expensive, my parents are going to match it for me. So I guess that's kind of cool. I guess that works out okay for me sometimes. But so hopefully I got a few nice little things for me to kind of keep me going a little bit. I got a couple games I want on the list, that's for sure. So hopefully I get some of those. That'll be cool to keep me going, even though I have like every freaking game imaginable. I think I need to stop buying games, honestly. But so hope you guys get what you want for Christmas as well. And probably for Christmas, my gift from me to you will be the Payback pay-per-view. Now, this has been a mess. The pay-per-view has been a mess because I just haven't found the time to work on it. But when you listen to this podcast right now, I'm telling you right now, or hopefully, 80% chance that Payback will be completed, and Payback will be currently rendering and on its way, which is very, very great. I'm very much looking forward to getting this pay-per-view out of the way and uploading. But the problem is, another internet update. Last week, I said they were going to come on Sunday. Turns out, my mother, she read the email wrong. It turns out they're coming not on the 20th of December, but on the 20th of January. So we have to wait a month until these guys come out here and install the internet, which is ridiculous. I mean, why do we have to wait one freaking month? I mean, I get it, holiday time, sure, but really, 1 month? Come on. So we have to wait a freaking month to get the internet upgrade, so which means there will not be a pay-per-view live stream this time around. No Payback live stream, which I know I'm pretty bummed out about that. I was really looking forward to streaming again and doing the live stream for Payback, because I really like listening and not listening, but reading your live reactions to what's going on the pay-per-view. It really feels cool. It kind of makes me feel like I'm giving you guys my own, live show, my own live pay-per-view, and you guys are like, it's like watching a real pay-per-view, and except you're watching me, which is pretty cool. So I always like doing that. We generally get 300 people out there for those shows, so it's always really, really fun. But unfortunately, can't do it this time around because my internet just is not good enough. But hopefully, for bragging rights, our next pay-per-view after that, we might be able to get it done then. So I know I've been really slack with the videos, but the thing is, this whole weekend, I've had friends over from Friday to Monday. I had friends over, and obviously when you have people over, you just can't make videos. I ended up editing the Payback pay-per-view promo during the weekend, but that's all I could really get done. So I couldn't get Payback done because I still had a lot of recording to do. But so I finally have got everything kind of ready to go, and at the moment, as of speaking, I am halfway through Payback, everything, all the process of doing it, and hopefully I should be finished by, before I go to bed. But hopefully I can get that done for you guys and get that ready to go. And I'm telling you, it's going to be a long one. I think it's about 2.5 hours long, thereabouts. I'm not really liking the length of that. I would like to kind of cut that back to, an hour and 45 minutes perhaps, or 2 hours top. So I need to perhaps drop a match from the pay-per-views. I think I've got maybe one match too many. So I need to try and, fix that. But anyways, the pay-per-view should be fun. Hopefully it's worth the wait. And I know everybody is just spamming me right now. Where's Payback? Where's Payback? Hopefully that gives you guys an update. The thing is, it's probably going to take 1 day to render it, because my computer rendering just isn't its strongest suit. And probably a day to upload it. So it's probably going to be out Christmas Day. And that's probably not a good day to upload it, but it's probably going to be out Christmas Day. So maybe if it's out any earlier, then the Patreon people will get it earlier. And also check your links for that. So keep an eye on your emails. I'll let you know when the Payback pay-per-view drops early for all the Patreon supporters to get a hold of that. Of course, $1 pledge gets the pay-per-views early. This time around, I'm finally going to get that done. Finally give that out to the Patrons early. So that's the plan right now. It's going to be out in the next few days. As soon as it's out, I'll let you guys know, and you can see it up on my channel very, very soon. So I do apologize for the wait, but really, I just have been working on it. I have been, but I've also had some other things. And obviously, it's holiday season, and most people, they're not working over Christmas. I'm still working. I'm still doing my thing, still making videos for you guys, even though it's Christmas time. So I'm still putting in the hours, still putting in the effort for you guys. Hopefully you can appreciate that and kind of respect that maybe it took a little bit longer this time around because of that. And hopefully you do end up enjoying Payback. But one thing I didn't enjoy this week was certainly Monday Night Raw. It was a Slammy Awards show, and which normally means it's pretty lame. This week, it was very lame. And unfortunately for the WWE, this show came at the worst possible time. Last week's Raw was great. They had a huge spike in the ratings. I think it was like a 900 million viewer gain. Fantastic. A great show. So we all thought, okay, the Slammy Awards will probably be the true testament of how well the ratings did and how well Roman Reigns is as a champion. Even though Roman Reigns wasn't really highly featured this week on Raw, he had a segment at the start, he was in at the end. So I guess we probably won't really see until perhaps next week, because the Slammy Awards is just a gimmick show, and I'm glad it wasn't a Christmas Raw this time around. Normally we get the Christmas Raw, which is just absolutely unbearable. But they didn't do that this time around. I think they couldn't afford to do it this time around because I think they knew that many people are really, the ratings are bad enough as it is. Having a really, really bad Raw in a holiday period just wouldn't be a good idea. So I'm glad they stuck with their guns and they amped it up and made it a decent show. But decent is not good enough right now. The Slammy Awards, it just is boring. It just doesn't offer anything. There's just nothing you can really do with it. And let's be honest, all the awards are rigged anyways. I mean, come on, Neville, the breakout superstar of the year, really? What has Neville done? Neville has he won a freaking match that means something yet? No, he hasn't. Every time he's in a big match, he loses. Clearly to me, the breakout star of the year is Kevin Owens. He comes in, beats Cena in his first match. Now he's, won the Intercontinental Championship, no longer the champion now. But hey, at least he's won a title. That's a little bit more than what Neville could say. So that to me kind of, shaped it up to be rigged to me. Obviously that was a bit of a setup to kind of just have an excuse for Kevin Owens and Dolph Ziggler again. But this week's Raw just kind of felt like last week's repeat. The Usos and the New Day again. We saw the Dudleys and Tommy Dreamer. This time instead of Rhino, it was Kane teaming up against the Wyatts. How many times are we going to see this? We've seen Jack Swagger versus Alberto Del Rio again. I mean, none of the matches that I saw were very interesting. The main event, Sheamus and Dean Ambrose in a steel cage, was probably the only decent match on the show, but by the time the match came around, I was done. I kind of tuned out a little bit. The expected thing happened. We saw the League of Nations, which, by the way, they're really trying to build them. All of a sudden, in the last maybe week, they decided, shit, we better actually try and make these guys look like, genuine threats. So they're actually trying to, to make them good. And Ryback seems like he's going to be the guy to take the brunt of it. So, so the League of Nations coming out in the steel cage match, obviously interfering a little bit there. The usual kind of crap. Then Roman Reigns comes out for the help. The thing to me that I just found funny in that matchup was that Sheamus and Ambrose are fighting in the steel cage right at the end. Why doesn't they just drop down? Why don't they drop down instead of throwing punches at each other? Wouldn't you just fall off the cage instead of trying to actually knock your opponent off the cage? They're throwing punches at each other, trying to knock each other off the cage. Meanwhile, whoever drops off the cage wins the match. Where's the logic in that? I don't see it. So, to me, if I'm Dean Ambrose, I'm taking a fall. Screw it. I'm taking a fall, or you can keep punching me, whatever, but I'm just going to fall off, I'll win the match, and I'll recover afterwards. But in the end, Ambrose kind of did that, but it was really by the force of Sheamus. So, that kind of finish made no sense to me. Obviously, Reigns coming out and, spearing up Sheamus again, so it looks like we're having a Sheamus and Roman Reigns rematch, and they really didn't do much with Roman Reigns and the Authority storyline. I know Stephanie trying to, pin it against the, League of Nations against the family of Roman Reigns, quote unquote. I know they tried to do that little thing, but really it wasn't that effective to me, and I just think, this week was filler. This week was a filler Raw to what is to come next week. They also announced John Cena is returning next week, which, personally, I get why they're announcing it. The ratings are bad, and they probably know that people are going to be dropping off after this week again, after a pretty bad show, so they want to try and generate some interest coming into next week's Raw. I get it, and I have been saying on the show as well, they should be announcing matches ahead of time to generate interest and get people watching, but I just don't like it when they announce returns. I wouldn't have minded seeing a big return from Cena coming on Raw. I think we all knew it was coming anyways. I think he's been announced for this show for a long time anyways. So I guess it's not really a big surprise return, but I guess I understand why they did it. But, hopefully they don't, spoil a return of a Brock Lesnar or anything like that, because that would really make it sour. I mean, you really waste that moment, and you can't get those moments very often where you get a genuine surprise return, see someone come back out, it's exciting, the crowd pops, you want those moments. But I still think Cena will get a good reaction when he comes out next week against Del Rio. I don't know if it's for the title. I know they're having a match. I don't know if it's for the title. I don't know what they're going to do with John Cena. That's the thing. Where do you go with John Cena right now? Do you want him to be US champion again? I don't really think so. I think I'd move him away from that. Do you want him to be WWE World Champion right now? I don't think that's the plan. I think the plan is Roman Reigns all the way. So where do you go with Cena? Do you just build him for a big high-profile match at WrestleMania? I guess the Undertaker and Cena thing would be a perfect fit because you got Undertaker who's there, and you can kind of make that happen, and it could just happen naturally, organically, and you don't have to try and insert Cena into a storyline that's already happening right now. You can just start a fresh one, and you can lead to that direction. So I guess that would be the best idea right now, because I don't really see what else you can do with John Cena right now. I just don't think he really inserts himself to any of the picture right now. But I am glad to see John Cena back. I mean, I would like to see John Cena come out and try and change a few things up a little bit. I know that's not going to happen, but there's a lot of talk going around right now that Cena is looking to get out, looking to get into more movies, looking to kind of, get out of the business while he can. And I don't know if there's any real truth to those rumors. There's been a lot of talk about that. How long will Cena stick around for? And apparently he's not happy or whatever. I mean, the schedule that this guy goes through is insane. I get that. Perhaps he's trying to limit some dates. And I think the news was that he's not really working all that many shows in January. A lot of the house shows he's not really working. So he's kind of trying to ease back his schedule a little bit, which is fair enough. The guy's been killing it for 10 years. I think, personally, you need to kind of use Cena, in not a part-time role, but, when he's there, he should feel more special. You don't want to, shove him down our throats like you've been doing for the last 10 years. You want to see Cena. You want to see the guy. So when you see Cena, you should enjoy seeing him around, because, for the last 3, 4, 5 years, whenever you see Cena, it's just like, oh, Cena. But if they can slowly kind of just fade him away a little bit and, just use Cena in small bursts, I think that might be a decent way just to kind of generate a little bit more interest in Cena again. I don't know, but I just feel as though Cena's just been so overexposed for such a long time. They definitely need him right now. They have no doubt about that. Cena needs to be competing on Raw every week. They need John Cena. But I just feel as though in the future, when things kind of level out a little bit more, using Cena in more of a big match type of role wouldn't be a bad idea. Just for a little bit of time. Maybe let the guy kind of work Hollywood for a while and kind of do his thing there. And, perhaps this might be in a year or two's time when Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose and a few guys from NXT come up and have established themselves as top-level guys and can run this company. Maybe a guy like Cena could walk away for a little bit and kind of do some other things and, kind of make his appearances feel more special. I don't know. That's just a thought. But I certainly need Cena back right now. I just don't know where we go from here. And, I mean, I guess you could kind of just do the simple Royal Rumble build-up for John Cena, have him come back, beat Del Rio, announce he's going to be in the Royal Rumble, compete in the Royal Rumble. Maybe in the Royal Rumble you start a rivalry there. They don't really do that all that much nowadays. I mean, I've been watching some Royal Rumbles back in the day. I think I watched 2003, 2004, and I remember in the Royal Rumble, it might have been 2004, where Brock Lesnar would come out and beat the shit out of Goldberg in that Rumble, sparking that rivalry. I think it was 2003. Shawn Michaels and Chris Jericho battled it out for ages in that Rumble, and eventually Shawn Michaels got eliminated by Jericho. Shawn Michaels came back and helped get rid of Jericho. So just those kind of moments in the Royal Rumble match that can lead to a rivalry in the future. I miss those moments, and I would like them to do that a little bit more. Use the Rumble to spark rivalries rather than just being a filler and just kind of being the same old, alright, going through the motions, waiting for the big name to come out, and just kind of, doing the thing until the Final Four happens. I think, trying to set up some more rivalries through the Royal Rumble will definitely make the Rumble matchup more interesting indeed. But this week, they've been milking the Wyatts and ECW guys again. Obviously, they've got to end this now. This is, Tommy Dreamer, apparently, I thought he was going to be done last week. The rumor was that it was going to be his last Raw. He's back again this week. Surely that has to be his last one. The Wyatts have beaten him 3 times in a row. I think, who are we kidding? These guys aren't going to beat the Wyatt family. So I think we need to move that along, get the Wyatts doing something different. I'm not sure where they go now. Perhaps, a babyface turn I don't think is really ever going to be on the cards. Who's a big name group they could really go against that's babyface? Is there really isn't. I mean, the League of Nations versus the Wyatts would be great, but both are heel teams, so it doesn't really work all that well. So I'm not exactly sure what they do with the Wyatts next. Do they insert Harper and Rowan, for example, in the tag team division? Do they go with that? Try and make Bray Wyatt a single star again? I'm not sure, but it's certainly something they need to work on, and they definitely need to do something with them differently. I mean, the Dudley things is done. That's done. Let's move on from that, and we can just see how it goes from there. You know, try a few different things, see if it works out, and go from there. A little disappointed this week there was no Brock Lesnar. I thought perhaps there was a chance he might come out, but then again, was there really anything for him to do in this show? Was there really anything worth coming out for? No. I mean, having him on this show would have just been a waste, honestly. So perhaps they'll do it next week. Perhaps they'll have Lesnar come up next week. At least that'll be a bit more of an interesting show. I think the crowd will be a little bit more excited. Just this show was just so flat. There just wasn't anything to it really worth getting excited for as well. In other news, it looks as though they're trying to stack up this week's SmackDown show. A couple title matches on there. They're making a live Super SmackDown show. Yeah, I guess kind of the last throw on the dice a little bit. I mean, SmackDown is moving to the USA Network very soon. Perhaps, you know, they want to finish off strong and gain a little bit of momentum before USA, which is probably not a bad idea. You know, you don't want to head into a new network and all of a sudden revamp the show and expect people to come and tune in straight away. I think a few strong SmackDown shows heading in towards the network switch could be beneficial for them. But let's be honest, it's SmackDown, and we've seen it time and time again. When they brought in Main Event, it started well. There was a couple of good Main Event shows to start off. Alright, this is pretty good. This could be a good show. And as the months and months go by, no one gave a shit. The WWE stopped caring. It became Superstars 2.0. SmackDown for the last 3, 4, 5 years even has been an utter joke. Really, there's nothing to look forward to on SmackDown. There's no exclusive superstars. Storylines barely carry over. It's always DQ finishes. Nothing ever happens on SmackDown. If they start genuinely having something interesting happen on SmackDown, and don't recap it on Raw. I mean, if you didn't watch SmackDown, well, tough shit, you don't see it. You know, like, why doesn't that happen? You don't even need to watch SmackDown because they recap everything that you would have missed that was important on SmackDown on Raw. There's nothing you really need to tune in for SmackDown for anyways, but if there was one decent segment, they'll show you it 16 times on Raw. So why don't they make SmackDown a must-see show? Make things happen on SmackDown, and don't recap it. Don't recap it on Raw, because if you missed it, well shit, you should have watched SmackDown. And give people a reason to tune into SmackDown. Honestly, if SmackDown was enjoyable and had great matches, had storylines going on, and perhaps you have exclusive guys, like you can't tell me that a guy like Damien Sandow can't get a run on Raw or SmackDown in at the moment. In this roster, this current roster right now, you mean to tell me a guy like him can't get a run? You know, there's so many guys in the back that you could use on SmackDown, and perhaps SmackDown only. You know, I get it, there might be lower mid-card guys, whatever. You don't want them on Raw, sure. Why not feature them, and feature them strongly on SmackDown? Give them storylines, give them something to do. It's not really hard at all. I don't see how SmackDown is so hard to make a decent show. I really don't. It just needs a little bit of effort to put towards it. And it's a show like, you know, same for Main Event. I mean, I don't see why they have a select few. Maybe perhaps you pick 20 guys that are going to be, you know, Main Event guys. That guys that are going to appear on Main Event often. Why don't you do something with that? Why don't you have storylines for that? Why don't you generally try and put something on? You know, put a decent, you know, few matches on there. And, you know, have storylines, have segments, have talking segments. Do those things and build up storylines that you can only see on Main Event. Make these shows worth watching. I don't see how hard it is, but for some reason the WWE just doesn't care. Perhaps the ratings aren't good enough for them to really care, and I get that. But the reason why the ratings aren't good enough is because they don't care. And if they did care, then people would actually watch, because if they don't care, why should we care? And it's pretty clear to all of us that SmackDown has not been cared about for years, and just putting on one random good SmackDown is not going to be enough. And when they move to USA, I get the feeling that they'll probably stack it up for the first maybe 2-3 weeks, maybe a month. Then after that, it'll be back to the same old thing because it's just SmackDown at the end of the day. They barely put on a good show for Raw. I guess you could barely think they could. It would be stupid of me to think that they could put a good show on for SmackDown as well. But so I'm not expecting much for this Super SmackDown. I probably won't watch it because, let's be honest, there won't be any title changes. Probably DQs or countouts, something like that to get out of it. But good decision to kind of hype it up a little bit, and they're doing a good job of it. Putting titles on the line, making it live, making it worth watching. I think live SmackDowns are certainly worth watching, yes, but for me, it doesn't really seem at the moment like. Judging from what happened on Raw, why should I watch SmackDown? If Raw was bad enough, do I really want to watch 2 hours of SmackDown? Probably not. And the other bit of news about the WWE this week is the possible return of Jeff Hardy. A lot of talk going around right now that Jeff Hardy wants to come back to the WWE, and he wants to come back with his brother Matt, and he wants to have one last big feud with the Dudley Boys, which would be great. So at the moment, Jeff is injured. I think he's going to be injured for the majority of next year. But to me, I personally believe that they're going to sign Jeff. Perhaps they might get Matt as well. They probably will. I mean, I think it'll be a package deal, honestly. I think Jeff will want his brother signed at the same time, looking after his family. So I see both of them getting signed next year. 2016, I see both of them getting signed. And even if Jeff is injured, I don't think they'll use Matt, by the way. I think Matt will stay home, until Jeff is cleared. But I could see them signing, Jeff Hardy, Matt Hardy, and putting them in the W2K17 video game. I could see that. They could kind of hype up a Jeff Hardy return around the video game. I get that it would probably be a spoiler by then, but look, he's going to be injured for a whole year. You want to sign him. You want to make sure that no one else gets to him. You want to make sure that you got Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy on your roster, under your payroll, ready to go when he's fit and healthy. So what better way to capitalize on a possible return than having Jeff Hardy in the video game with Matt Hardy, doing the simple, video game deal, and you could still have a genuine surprise return when he does get cleared. So I think that's the way I'd probably go about it. I would sign Jeff Hardy the minute he can be signed. The minute the TNA, his contract expires, I would be talking to Jeff Hardy. I'd be talking to him right now. Talking to Jeff, making sure that I get him back in my company, because Jeff Hardy is a big asset. Right now, you look at the roster. They really need a tag team. They really need Jeff Hardy as a top guy. They could really use that. He's still got a few years left in him. He's going to have to change his style a little bit now of this injury. But he's still got, probably 3, 4, 5 genuinely good years left in the body. I think it's worth getting him back in there, worth paying the price. And if you want to have Matt Hardy come along as well, even for a short tag team run, then you kind of transition Jeff back into a singles perhaps. Whatever you want to do with him, it's worth getting him back there. So, to me, my prediction is he will be back in the WWE next year. That's my guarantee. And if it's not, well, I will be genuinely surprised, and I will be laughing at the WWE. And I think the only reason why he may not be is because of the injury. But like I said, just sign him back, put him in the video game. Make him a playable legend in the video game. It'd be pretty cool. I would certainly like it. I think a lot of people would be really happy to see that happen. So, to me, it's a no-brainer. And speaking of TNA, for the first time in a while, we're actually going to cover a little bit of TNA, because one thing that TNA, that they're doing this week, and not really TNA itself, but their new network, Pop TV, I think it is, whatever it is, Pop TV, they're doing specials of TNA, the best of TNA, and introducing people into TNA before they debut on their network. And I just want to say that's a really good move by TNA and their new network. They're doing a best of TNA, and also like a history of TNA, or like a what is TNA, kind of explaining what it's all about. They're having these shows air before TNA debuts on their network, and I just wanted to say that's a really good move, because not only do you show people what the product is all about, but you let people know who these people are. You let them gain a bit of, any new possible new audience members, any possible people that could be on Pop TV, just flicking through, what's going to be on next? Oh, TNA, what's this? Let me check it out. You gain the potential of gaining new fans, because if you just throw TNA on, a new network, and you just go on about your business like normal, people are just going to be genuinely confused. They're not going to be able to, get into the product straight away, and that could lead a lot of people to walk away. So having a decent platform to build off something, like an introductory to the network, I think is a good thing for TNA. So I wish TNA all the best. A lot of rumors going around as well that they're on the hunt for some big free agents. I think they want to get Mike Bennett and Maria. That was one of the little pairings that I heard about coming in. So they're on the hunt for some free agents, so hopefully they can get some good names coming in. I hope they don't go back to the Magnuses and those kind of, drop kicks that just offer nothing, that have never drawn a dime. Let's try and get some different names, and let's try and get some fresh names. I wouldn't mind them seeing, trying to get some more big New Japan guys come in as well. I wouldn't mind that kind of happening. I know kind of Ring of Honor's got that deal kind of wrapped up, but, I think TNA just needs to get some fresh faces in there, and the WWE rejects just aren't working for them right now. I mean, bringing in Brodus Clay, for example, no one gives a shit about that. You got to bring in some guys with some genuine talent who genuinely want to be there, who aren't just there for the payday. You need guys who want to see this product grow and prosper. If they can do that, then people will enjoy the product. I know I haven't been watching TNA for about 3 years now, and I probably have no plans of doing it again, but I want to see TNA still go. The reason why I haven't really been watching TNA is because every time I tune in, I just can't get into it. There's so many loopholes in their storylines. They just make so many mistakes, and, why should I allocate an extra 2 hours to my wrestling quota for the week for something that really isn't that great? The WWE, it's kind of like a chore right now. It's kind of like, you just do it. And it's hard not to keep up with the WWE. But TNA, you can really avoid it. And I check out clips on YouTube from time to time, but really there isn't much for me to check out at all. So hopefully TNA can just restructure the company, go in a different direction, start fresh, because this might be their last start. This might be their last reset, because I don't know if there's going to be another network to take these guys on if this is a failure. So hopefully TNA does have success. And I know even if I watch TNA, it wouldn't count towards their ratings, so I can't exactly help TNA on their opening night. If I could, I would, because I would like to watch TNA's first show on Pop. So we'll see how that goes, and hopefully they have success. And that's really the wrestling roundup this week. Not a lot to really talk about. Pretty slow week in wrestling. We'll have some more questions a little bit later on. Kind of a little bit different little segment this week on the show. I want to talk about some sport, and specifically the Big Bash League cricket, baby. Now, if you are not a cricket fan, you're going to zone out. I get that. Skip 5 minutes ahead, because I just want to kind of quickly cover the Big Bash. My team, Sydney Thunder, finally picking up 2 victories in a row. 2 victories in a row. Absolute thrilling game against the Melbourne Stars as well the other day. Jack Ellis, oh my goodness, just brought that home. I thought for sure we were done. When Kevin Peterson was just slogging them over the fence time and time again, I thought for sure it was over. But Callis brought something out, pulled something out of the hat and got it home. James Faulkner trying to ramp shot and completely missing it and screwing it up and only getting 2 at the last ball. It was amazing, a great match. And I tell you what, after years and years of being a Thunder supporter, and this is the 5th season, 4 years in a row of absolute agony, 4 years in a row of just pain and suffering. Because let me tell you this, I've been a Thunder fan since day one, and the first game that Sydney Thunder played, it was a win. I believe it was Chris Gale, it might have been Gale or Warner, one of the two, if not both. They just came out there and just absolutely blitzed it. They were on fire, absolutely dominated. It was incredible. And I thought, holy shit, this team is awesome. This team is going to be the best team. There is no way they're losing. They've got it. They've got it wrapped up. This is the go. They didn't win another game for years. For another year or two. They lost, every single game for the rest of the season. So it's been a tough time supporting Sydney. So 2 wins in a row. I don't think they've ever done that. So it's been great to finally get some wins. I tell you that. So I'm very, very happy. I'm a proud Sydney Thunder fan. I've got jerseys, I've got the hats, I've got the merch. So I'm not going to bandwagon. I'm just enjoying the run that we're on. Hopefully we make the finals. That's all I want. Just make the finals. But this season is really good. I mean, there's a lot of big names playing in this league, and obviously, I want to step into the sport management field. And I tell you what, being a part of the Big Bash, on a management side of things would be really, really cool to do. I would love to get involved at some point because this league is really heating up. And I think, with the whole IPL, corruption situation, wouldn't surprise me the Big Bash becomes one of the top leagues. It doesn't have the money to kind of draw in IPL, players from all around the world and kind of stop the whole world of cricket and everyone has to play IPL. It doesn't have that money to influence that, but certainly we can have a lot of great players come along and play in the Big Bash. I think personally, being biased, I think it's much better than the IPL anyway. So I really love and enjoy the Big Bash. Been watching a lot of that, and that's really the only sport I've been kind of watching. I have not been following with the NBA. I kind of keep an eye on the scores a little bit here and there. My Heat are doing okay, which is good, but haven't been following it religiously because it's difficult to follow US sports here in Australia because the games are on in the morning. It's just kind of annoying, and you don't hear about it on the news or anything. It's not like you flick on the news and they're talking about the NBA. That never happens, so kind of a little bit harder to follow the NBA here. Whereas prime time cricket's on, put the Big Bash on, away we go. So, but just wanted to kind of talk about that a little bit. If you do, I know there's not a lot of Australians who watch, but if you are following the Big Bash, tell me in the comments below who your team is. I would love to know who you're supporting. This week, and what is Brendan playing? This week's been a bit of a choppy week. There really hasn't been a game that I've kind of stuck to. My friend brought over Guitar Hero, so I played a lot of that. The new one, which is cool. I like the new change to Guitar Hero, the black, the white, the changing of the buttons. Instead of having the 5 across, you got 3 up, 3 down. If you get what I mean, Google it if you're not sure. But I like the change. It's challenging, but it's rewarding as well. And it's much better for me because, I don't know, like my ring finger just does not work very well. So when I'm trying to play Rock Band, for example, or the old Guitar Heroes, moving across to the 5th note and kind of moving back, it just stuffs me over. The red and the blue at the same time, I think it is, always screws me over. So I'm glad they did the change because this works much better for my terrible fingers. And I can really play a lot better. So I've been really enjoying that. I just don't like how they've kind of structured the whole play system, because if you're not familiar with it, back in the day, if you had a song in the game, you could just play it for as many times as you want. But now, you have to kind of, play in-game and earn money and buy play tokens. And with those play tokens, then you have to spend those tokens to be able to play these songs. I know on Rock Band, if you buy the song pack, you could just have it. But you can't do that in Guitar Hero. You just have to kind of spend the money, real-life money or in-game money to, get these songs and be able to play them, which kind of sucks. I mean, I would like to just have these songs that I like, because there's a lot of songs that I like on the game. But I'd like to be able to just be able to play them, rather than just, have to earn the right to do it. But other than that, I've been still playing GTA Vice City. I've kind of nearly finished that up. I'm just kind of doing some side things right now on that. Started Need for Speed as well. Not bad. I got the platinum on the Tales of Borderlands. I don't know if I mentioned that last week. I'm not sure when I got that. I think it might have been later last week. But yeah, I got a platinum on that, which was fantastic. There's a video up on my second channel, Brendan's Platinums, about that one. Played the Game of Thrones game as well from Telltales as well, which is pretty good. I think I might finish that off and get the platinum there. I have been trophy hunting quite a lot, and I've been really enjoying it. I just need to kind of pick a game and play it, platinum it, and I don't know what game to pick. I have so many options, that's the thing. I think Need for Speed is a game that I want to do, so hopefully I can get into it. It's a little bit different. There's a lot of real-life acting elements to it, and I don't like the fact that you can't pause it. It's kind of annoying, but it is what it is. So now that I have a few more free-range, open-world options, I've been enjoying it. I have been enjoying it a little bit more. So that's probably a game I'll get on and play a bit more. I still have Just Cause 3 to play. I know they did a big patch on that this week, and they fixed that all up. There's a lot of loading screen problems, and I know they fixed that all up. So I think I'll definitely get on that very soon. But let me know what you guys are playing as well, and maybe that will influence me to play some of those games, because I just don't know what to play. I still have my big RPGs of The Witcher and Dragon Age Inquisition to play. I want to finish Assassin's Creed 4 and Assassin's Creed Unity before I get Syndicate. I have Mad Max that my friend gave me as well. I haven't even put that in, so I got so many games to play. Just don't know what to pick. And hopefully I can sort something out soon. Alrighty, so we're going to get into a few questions before we wrap this week's show up, so let's get straight into them.
Who is more annoying? Bad News Barrett, Sheamus, or Big Show?
To me, it has to be Sheamus because he comes out with his big goofy smile on his face and he just talks dribble. He just drives me nuts. Whenever he's on TV, he just drives me nuts. Bad News Barrett barely ever talks, barely does anything, so he doesn't annoy me as much. And Big Show, I have been a fan of the Big Show over the years. I think they've positioned him, to the point where he's just ridiculously, overpowered sometimes. That KO punch just knocks everyone out. It's just annoying, and he cries all the time. So that's certainly been very, very annoying. But to me, Sheamus has to take the prize. Whenever he's on the stick, it just drives me nuts.
Who do you think will return for the Rumble?
I don't think we're going to have any big name returns for the Rumble. I think we might see maybe a spot for Booker T or a Rob Van Dam or a Diamond Dallas Page come in. I don't think we're going to see, anything really great. Perhaps the Boogeyman will come in. Perhaps Tatanka as well. Some of these guys have been signed to Legends deals recently. Perhaps are a chance. I don't think we're going to see any big names like The Rock or, Undertaker or anything like that come in the Rumble.
Hey Brennan, this is Mike. And who do you think will win between Dean Ambrose and Triple H at Payback?
I think, to me, the way it is looking, I think Dean Ambrose certainly has the upper hand. Triple H is coming off a big rivalry against Ryback and a successful one for him, and he does have some big wins under his belt, but Triple H has not been all that successful in some big matches, and I think a one-on-one match against Dean Ambrose, I just think Dean Ambrose is just on fire right now, and I don't know if Triple H has enough left in the tank at this point in his career to put that fire out, but I think it's going to be very, very close, no doubt about that, but I think right now you'd probably have to be leaning towards Dean Ambrose. I think he'd have to be the favourite, but I certainly think there's a big, big chance for Triple H to come away as the champion as well. So I'm kind of on the fence a little bit there, I know, but if I have to pick anyone, it'd be Dean Ambrose. Alrighty, so let's go head over to our questions submitted on the YouTube and the forums. This one comes from Jacob Radley. What is your favourite drink and food combination? Well, if you know me, my favourite drink is Pepsi Max. I drink that religiously. My favourite beer is Corona, no doubt about that. And if you were on the forums, you would have known that I was drinking a few Coronas over the weekend. But yes, I think my favourite drink is obviously Pepsi Max. And my favourite food is probably pizza. I think that's probably the right call. I only like Meat Lovers pizza, so I only like it, just all different variations of meat on it. I love thick crust. I hate it thin. It has to be thick crust. So I guess that's my favorite combination, Pepsi Max and pizza. So my next question is coming from Edgar. What do you watch on TV if Raw, Smackdown, The Walking Dead, and Breaking Bad aren't on, for example? Well, I haven't been watching a lot of TV as of late. I have been, watching a few things like Breaking Ground, for example, on the network. I'm a big podcast guy, so I listen to a lot of podcasts. I got quite far into Sons of Anarchy, but I recently stopped watching it. I think I was on season 6 or something like that. I need to get back into that and finish that off. I have a lot of TV shows I want to watch. I just haven't got around to it. Boardwalk Empire is one that I started. Homeland is one that I started as well. What is the show called? I'm forgetting the name of it. I'm having a blank on the name of the show. So anyways, I've lost it. It'll probably come to me in about 5 minutes. But so I have a lot of shows that I do watch or wanting to watch, but nothing right now that I'm kind of watching. The Walking Dead, I haven't kind of caught up yet to what has happened this season. I think I watched the first 2 or 3 episodes. I need to get into that again and finish that off. I was really digging what was happening, so that's something I need to do. I just haven't had the time, really, or I have to kind of be in the mood sometimes to watch TV shows. I haven't really been in the mood, I guess you could say, in a while. This one comes from Game Player. He asks 2 questions, but I'm just going to answer the latter one. He wants to know, How did I become so good at commentating? I don't actually think I'm good, but that's his words. Did it take practice, or does it come naturally? Being rubbish at commentary is what is worrying me, or worrying him. It certainly takes a lot of practice. I was never really that great. My first YouTube videos were rubbish, as expected. I'm not exactly a good talker. I stumble a lot. I kind of muddle up my words a lot. I stutter sometimes when I talk in real life. But I think, when I'm commentating, sometimes, that creeps in there a little bit. And right now, I've kind of been screwing up here and there. It is late, leave me alone. But when I'm commentating, sometimes it just clicks. Sometimes it just all works for me. But that has taken years of practice. I've been doing YouTube for about 5 years now. And when I started, it was 10-minute gameplay commentaries. So I would talk about an issue, talk about a topic, and just kind of talk. And I was pretty good at it. It took me like maybe 6 months to a year before I really could say that I was pretty decent at it. But I think obviously now, 4 years later, I've learned a lot of things. I've had a lot of practice. I've made maybe 1,000 videos. So I've done many, many videos, and some of those videos are 2 hours long. And I've had a lot of time to practice, and I do podcasts. I had a lot of time, so a lot of practice, thousands of hours of practice. So it really just takes practice. That really is all it is, and it'll come soon. It'll come eventually, but sometimes it just isn't for everybody. I personally kind of force myself to be good at it, but even when I was younger, I was a big fan of sports commentating. I wanted to be a sports commentator. I wanted to commentate over football or cricket, either one. I really wanted to do sports commentating, so that was something that I've always had an interest in when I was younger, and kind of, I would, watch cricket, and I would, talk, about it as well, and it would just kind of do my own little pretend commentary when I was young. So that's something that I've just always had an interest in, so I guess that's kind of, come along and been brought into my videos as well. So I just guess I've been, doing it for a long time, and eventually practice makes perfect. And certainly I don't have a natural gift or anything like that. I don't have your natural radio voice or anything like that. I just have been, trucking away at it for a long time now, and I guess it's just starting to come good. Final question today comes from CMS Sports. Are you one of those people that likes seeing Triple H bury people? I like seeing Triple H in the ring. I'm a fan of Triple H. I have been for years now. I was never really a big fan of that era where it was the Triple H burying era, the 02, 03, 04 era. I was never a huge fan of that, but I have been able to appreciate Triple H for a long time now, and seeing him as a part-timer and coming back for the 1 or 2 matches a year is exciting to me. I enjoy it. I really want to see Triple H in the ring. I really enjoy seeing him wrestle. So to me, I've always been a big fan, and I'm always going to enjoy seeing him get in the ring. So I'm not a Triple H hater, never have been, probably never will be. So when he's in the ring, I'm more than happy. I will be more likely to watch that match than anything else on the show. So I'll be more excited for that match anyways, I should say. So I'm not a fan of people, Triple H burying people, but I don't think he's going to be burying anybody anytime soon. So that's going to do it for this week's edition of Let's Talk Tuesdays. A little shorter one, I know, because there's really not a lot to talk about this week. This week's Raw was just, ugh. But I hope you guys enjoy this week's edition, and I hope you all have a great Christmas. I've got a big Payback video to go ahead and complete, and hopefully you guys will be checking that out very, very soon. And I hope you guys, like I said, have a great Christmas, have a great holiday, stay safe, eat a lot of food. Hopefully Santa's kind to you, and I'm going to be enjoying my week, no doubt about that. And hopefully you can catch up with some family, some friends, and have a great time. So guys, thank you so much for listening in again, and I'll see you all next Tuesday.